have the magic stuff. I've heard this. I've heard this from more people than I care to admit. They say you have the magic stuff. You do. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm on fire. It's 7:30. The Yankees just got that out. It's how many episodes are we into this? 14,776, 833 episodes in. I just finished a full day of work in the city, came home, Ubered from the train to the house, threw a Chick-fil-A sandwich down my throat, and now I get to talk to you. I mean, come on now. Who's got a better life than me? I got a haircut yesterday. Some would say I got all of them cut, actually, instead of just a haircut.
The $1 million question is, even God took days off, right? He took the 7th day off. Do you think that this is a 7-day-a-week podcast, or do you think maybe the Cage Lawyer, 10 days?
10. Well, now we're gonna have. I mean, I would like to talk to Cajun once every 2 weeks. Maybe do like a Cajun Cage. Get it? Cajun Cage. And we could bullshit because you've been on the phone with the two of us. It gets very interesting.
People like it. They get their own. Everyone likes their own different news host, right? Someone had Stuart Scott, someone had Van Pelt, Linda Cohn. But together, almost it was even more fun when you'd get them together in different settings. So it's
like a dream team, and he could teach me some basketball so that I could come on these shows and actually be able to like match wits with you, because I know I can't in basketball. Some other sports I can. Like I will dominate you in tennis. Soccer, forget it. I mean, you are like Pepe to my Haaland in soccer. I mean, it is. You might as well play for Ajax.
A lot of topics there. I am watching the Alcaraz cards like a hawk. There's one on Probstein with 3 or 4 days left. But no, sometimes the best, sometimes not knowing a subject or being a junior or beginner in a subject actually gives you like a different perspective. You know what I mean? Like
I almost got you a gift at Hofstra, by the way. I almost got you a gift at Hofstra, but I was like, maybe you think this is stupid because it's not a card. Maybe I'll pick something off for you at Chantilly. But I was outside with Ian. He was opening Pokemon with a friend, and a kid came out, and he was like, hey, I haven't opened Pokemon in a long time. So we started talking to him and said, what are you doing here? I say kid. He's probably in his 20s, right? He's like, I'm getting some stuff, authenticated by JSA. I said, what? He goes, I got 6 tennis balls. I go, any Alcaraz? He goes, yeah, 4 of them. I got them at the U.S. Open, and I got the U.S. Open Finals program signed by the two guys, Alcaraz and what was the Swedish guy? I forget the guy's name he played. Druin, so I don't know if I say his name wrong, but he had signed by both, and JSA was authenticating them. And of course, he was like, True, yeah, that guy, yes, and Dwight Schrute, exactly.
Literally.
So I was like, oh, maybe I get. He's like, yeah, I only need like $100-$150 for the ball, and I'm like, I don't know what does an Alcaraz ball go for? Like, I'm trying to pull out Card Ladder and be like, hey, what's an Alcaraz signed ball?
I mean, honestly, those are just one of those cool things. You get a shelf, you put it up there. Like my dad would love that. My dad would love that.
How many? How'd you get 4 Alcaraz balls? What were you beating the hell out of kids? Pushing them out of the way to get him to sign at the end of the match. He's like, basically, I was like, oh, I'm not giving you money, pal.
So, are you pumped? Are as a Yankees fan? You're never happy until it's over, right? Winning is winning a championship in New York. Any comments on the Yankees?
I'm not upset, obviously. I mean, this is a bumpy road to get there. We were heavy favorites in this series. The Guardians don't have the offense to keep up with us. I mean, our pitching is pretty terrible, and you can see the bullpen is a weak spot. I would imagine we are going to be underdogs against the Astros at home. The Astros have home field advantage for the series, and they're rested.
7 games or 5?
This is 7, yeah. The ALCS and the World Series is a 7-game series, but I mean they're rested. We can't pitch Cole until game 3, which means we'll get 2 starts out of him the series instead of what you would have 3 if you go to 7.
Devi, bring back Devi.
Yeah, Davey Garcia, that would be nice. He's definitely not on the postseason.
Is Nestor going to pitch?
Nestor Cortez. He pitched today. He got the win for them today, so he won't pitch for a while either. I mean, that's the tough part. We're gonna game 1, so. Yes, we got rained out yesterday, and that probably helped us because we were able to pitch Cortez today. They weren't going to pitch Cortez on he pitched on 3 days rest. But now Cole and Cortez can't go to game 3, 4. We play today. Game 1 is tomorrow. Game 2 is Thursday. So they're going to play 3 days in a row. their bullpen's already taxed from this 5-game series. A lot of these guys have already been, pitching a lot. And who pitches?
Interesting.
Severino?
How in basketball you get a week off and it might help, might not. Like sometimes you come out flat. Baseball, the advantage is if you sweep, your pitchers are rested.
Well, you can line up. You're able to line it up. It's definitely an advantage for the Astros. And I think in an even series, they should be favored. They have great pitching. They have great hitting. They have guys who play small ball. Kyle Tucker, if you remember, you asked me for a prediction going into the postseason, a guy who no one really was talking about. I said Kyle Tucker, and he is having a great postseason. He's just been overshadowed in those 3 games by your dad, who's having a monster. He had a monster series there. So we'll see what happens in this series. Judge hit 2 home runs in this series in 5 games. You can't really complain about that. He struck out like 117 times in 5 games, though, which is never a good thing. Stanton looks good. The pitching, the starting. If Gerrit Cole goes out there and Nestor Cortez goes out there and does what they did in this series, they definitely have a chance. So am I excited? 100%. I definitely am excited. This is a great sports day. I came home late from work and only got to watch the last couple of outs on the Yankees. But I said to Ian, I go, the NLCS is on. The Padres and the Phillies game's on tonight. The 76ers play against the Celtics, right? Then you got the Lakers against Golden State later. And, and as I'm flipping the channels, there's hockey on. This is like, what's better than
Halloween? What are the kids going as Halloween? That's the $1 million question. Is Ian going as Nasty Nestor Cortez?
He should. No, my daughter is some sort of a vampire costume, and Ian decided that if you can't beat him, join him. Last year there were just too many of them. He is an inflatable dinosaur. That's the costumes that look like you're riding a dinosaur. It's like inflated. So he's got like this inflatable dinosaur that he's riding. It's pretty awesome.
Yes, that's the move. Like if you're doing costumes, that's the way to go.
Yeah, just ride a dinosaur all over the place and get candy. Why the hell not? I wish I could do it. You know what? Follow your dreams. Prestige worldwide. What was your dream? Well, I wanted to be a dinosaur. I used to go out into the yard and make noises and put my hands like this. He says, that's not a real dream. That's ridiculous. You could never be a dinosaur. Don't prestige worldwide. That's all I'm saying.
This is a fun episode for me, guys, because Cage is at work all day, right? So he's coming home. He's ready to banter and have a good time.
And you're ready to go to sleep. You're baked.
No, I'm in work mode. I'm like, let's get these guys a high impact, heavy hitting episode.
Listen, high impact, heavy hitting. I'd love to hear some of your headlines, some stuff like that. But let me just say this for high impact, heavy hitting. Thank you.
To who?
On behalf of me, to you, and on behalf of the people who get to listen to the episodes we put out and watch the episodes we put out. There's one thing I could say for sure. Nobody gets the variety of guests and the variety of content out there that you do. And people should know this. Like, you are the star of the show, the producer of the show, the backbone of the show. If we were a car, you'd be the engine, the gasoline, the steering wheel, the windshield wipers. It would be all of it, man. Literally all of it. And, people should know it. Just even the brakes. The brakes are me. The brakes are me. The brakes is just me. That I got. I'm the brakes. 100% on the brakes.
He cannot make us go, but he can make the ride wildly uncomfortable.
I make us stop. I can't make us go, but I can make us stop. But even guys, if you haven't listened, even the Wheelhouse Mike episode yesterday, nobody's putting on LCSs that don't have allocations, that don't put out content, that don't do that stuff. And the best part was those guys reached out to me afterwards and sent the nicest message. Nobody does that kind of stuff for us. And I say to him, I'm like, this is Andrew, man. Not only those guys are in your backyard, but you didn't even know this. I had a cigar with those guys at the National and talked to them about all this stuff. That's why I was able to really leading questions in the episode yesterday and kind of, get out what I thought was awesome when I talked to them. But that I love that, right? And listen, we have trolls, we got people who come after us, we got sponsors, we got all kinds of stuff. But one of the things I'd love to throw out there, it's a thank you to you and a thank you to people who are listening and giving us record numbers and subscribing on YouTube and putting all those numbers out there, because we do have sponsors. We do get paid. Not as much as I think we should get paid, but we do get paid. And we get paid by sponsors. And those sponsors, you know what they do? They allow us to shine a light on not just their business, but other businesses in the hobby, people who can't pay but should still be highlighted because of the good work they're doing with children's hospitals and with mystery packs to make sure that kids who come in the hobby who one day may use SGC or may use PWCC, we're here to bring those people to you because that is really what the hobby's about. So anyway, dude, thank you. Because I come home, you think, all right, I've been up. I woke up today at 5:30. Took my kids to school, had to make a second trip because Leah had gym and forgot her gym sneakers. So I had to go back to school, ride in the train, got abused at work today. like a lot of people listening. I mean, I had some tough calls at work today. Took the later train home, came home. You'd think I'd be like ready to go to sleep, but no, because I love this, man. This is my favorite part of my day. Get to, talk sports.
Well, the reality is like we have a big responsibility and dude, how many people have put their lives either on hold or changed course to do something in the hobby? A ton of people. That wasn't rhetorical. I was hoping you'd answer.
I'm sorry. Ian just texted me. When we started, I said, Ian, go take a shower. Now he says, can you come here, please?
Oh, no.
You probably forgot a towel.
Well, figure it out. And I could riff on this too, but dude, we have a big responsibility, and not we as just you and I, we as a community, in that we've made all these huge, grandiose dreams of like, this is going to be an industry, this is an asset class, there's going to be museums, all that stuff. Well, now the proof is in the pudding. It's easy to be successful when everything's going right. The true test of time is this next 12, 18, 24 months. Which businesses will survive? Which LCSs will survive? So which ones will thrive, right? Because we think of these periods as a recession or things are going poorly, but the reality is a lot of the best businesses ever made were formed during recessions, and they gobble up market share and they do things right and they build these real lasting relationships with customers. So I like business, Cage. I kind of nerd out to business. I know you don't always realize
business of business.
It's fun. It's actually very interesting. To me, it's sort of like chess with stakes. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I've always viewed it. I think it's such a fascinating thing. It's chess with stakes.
You know what's funny is sometimes we do business and I don't even know we're doing business. And you say to me, hey, isn't this fun? It's business. And I'm like, oh, this was just Tuesday for me. Because that's the funny part, man. I mean, listen, I just turned 46. Everybody knows this. I got a lot of happy birthday wishes. This whole thing is still a foreign thing to me. You know what I mean? I work for a company, I get a paycheck. This is different business. The calls we have, the stuff we get to talk about, the other people we get to kind of meet with, it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. And you say it's business. I say, holy shit, look who I got to talk to this week.
So I won't talk about the hobby. I'll give you guys a quick anecdote of what I think of business. But it's interesting. Everyone has different definitions. So when we had the cafe, around our cafe was this huge growing homeless population. The city did this thing where they said, if they're not really dealing or doing anything illegal, you don't arrest them, right? This was part of that whole decriminalization thing. Hang out. This train station is public area. So as long as they're up by 6 a.m., and they don't come back until business is closed at 8 p.m., they can walk around. They just can't sleep. So what I think of business is you should unite the businesses in the area and start a fund, start a program, start ways to give back. And what happened was they created a hub of hope where these businesses would donate bagels, pastries, clothes. Continental breakfast, mother effers. So that these people who, regardless of the judgment, if they're lazy or not, they're down and out. They're down and out, right? And we think of business as greed, and we think of business of all of the things that media perpetuates us, but we don't see the benefits of businesses done right. And what this country was founded on was 90% of people were self-employed entrepreneurs, and they would take care of their communities. They would pay for the services that benefited everybody else. It's not until this big government started looking over us, but it all was local. It was local businesses that took care of the communities that they were a part of. So I take that very seriously, as you could say.
I mean, and put that out to the hobby, right?
It's the same, yeah.
Hobby. I mean, that I think what you're saying is that, when you see people who are downtrodden or might not be in the best situation, it's up to the people who are doing better, the people who might have been successful, to kind of look out for those folks. And I like that. I think some of the businesses that sponsor podcasts and stuff like that are looking out for other people. You guys get free content. No, but beyond that, I mean, I understand what you're saying. And, sometimes it's a little thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a little thing like, at a show, a bunch of dealers getting together and doing like scavenger hunts and doing stuff like that for, the kids who come. And, it may cost them a little bit of money, but maybe it drives business. Maybe, maybe it actually gets kids to their table. Maybe it helps the hobby, in the future. But I mean, listen, I like it. I'm never going to tell anybody what to do, though. And there's a million different ways to do this hobby. And I have a question for you.
Sure.
You ask me questions. I'll put you on the spot. All right. I'm curious. It doesn't have to be a long-winded answer. You can if you want on it. What do you think about the
question?
It'll be long-winded. What do you think about the various type of content that's out there and the increase in what I would call gotcha content as the market maybe is on a downswing? That was about as short of a question as I've ever asked.
Did anyone come to mind?
Well, I mean, listen, I would never tell you that there's really bad content. Everybody's entitled to do whatever they want to do. But, what I would say is that even collectibles guru, right? The collectible guru guy who posted about the backyard breaks, right? I don't think he has an agenda, right? But that kind of content, like I've actually copied and pasted, tagged his stuff. I've put him out there. No one ever heard of him. But all of a sudden, when he puts, the content out there that is, I don't want to say attacking, but it's, how about this? Conspiracy theory type content. And let me also start by saying, just because you have a conspiracy theory doesn't mean you're wrong. I'll say that. Sometimes the people who have the conspiracy theories are onto something, right? So let me just say that. I'm not saying it's a negative, right? But people who have those, it's like, I don't know whether or not the hobby is like dry now and just a little spark can light it up. But that kind of stuff it takes off,
Well, I would say we group content into this one big bucket, but I think the substance of the specific thing that was discussed or presented is what needs to be analyzed, not blanket content as a whole. So you could even use a specific account. We could go AIH, Sports Card Radio, and we could say they've done one video really poorly and one video really well. Okay. So they've the video where they were called Sasha Tia Terrorist. That's just in poor taste. That is not a good video. There's no substance to that. There's nothing that's attacking.
Oh, you sent me one that was really good. You sent me one you like. Yeah.
But I've also sent ones that were detailed and researched.
Yeah.
AIH has gone after people with Marvel, and he's like, "What? Look at all this stuff. This doesn't add up." And then he goes after cleaning services because it's the same person. We're it's good or it's bad, and apparently humans can't differentiate or nuance. But no, this was presented poorly. This was really well researched, and this makes a lot of sense, and it's compelling. And that's how
I split up black and white. I love it, by the way. I mean, we've had Rahul on. I mean, we've had AIH on.
And the beauty of life is in the gray. It's their right and their right. Positivity matters, but you can't just let people do a bunch of crazy shit.
Let me recommend you a song by the group Live. I think it's on maybe the Throwing Copper album. Maybe they were one before it. The Beauty of Gray. A very nice song. That's the beauty of life. Gray, you said. The Beauty of Gray Live. They remember Lightning Crashes? That was a popular radio song that they did. So same group, but this is, I think, might have been on an album before that. Good song, Beauty of Gray. Yeah. So and you're right.
Dust in the wind, even though that's not.
Yeah, I mean, dust, wind.
You're so crazy. Just dust in the wind.
So crazy.
Man,
dude.
Oladipo could sing. Apparently, I've never heard it, but apparently he's this amazing karaokeist.
Samuel Dallenberg can pull 101 mellows. I mean, these basketball players can do all kinds of stuff.
The Hobby House is they sub with us through SGC.
Yeah,
Alex.
I like those guys. So I believe they bought the case from someone in New York, and then they went on Twitter and made a little joke that they bought the case from Backyard, and people ran with it. Because obviously that's it's going to get people to run with it. But here, let's take it broader. All right, take it broader. I feel like in the hobby, just like in America, battle lines are drawn. And maybe it's not different maybe even when the market was good, there were battle lines between investors and collectors, or flippers versus collectors, right? People who had different views on cards and as an asset class, you name it. And now I think I mean, it's was the election stolen or not? I mean, were the ballot boxes? I mean, no. Is it okay to clean the cards or not? No. Is backyard getting rigged cases or not? Like, it's just, why have we taken that turn? Or is it just something I'm just noticing? Is it a misery loves company thing? You know what I mean? Like, is it one of those things where, like, there's not as much fun to talk about? And let me take it down this road for a second. Maybe all the content, including us, we're talking about dollar signs and how much things were going up. And, this card is worth this because everything was going up. And you don't want to put out content about, oh, it's all going down, because no one wants to hear about that. And instead, if the value is going down, it's more fun to, gotcha,
So I can't speak to like our content maybe from 2 years ago, because I've evolved and I've changed. But I will say the content became easier for me to create when I stopped saying this is how you should do it, and it started saying this is how I'm doing it, and that just hits different. So I don't know, man. I'm really proud of the content we put out. I'm really proud of how I'm starting to see the hobby and learning and taking people down that road. But I think like there's a lot of good content out there.
Yeah.
I think some of it with the backyard stuff, it's funny. Backyard trolled them right back and said, "We love SCR on the stream." And like, how quick did they do that? Shout out to their marketing team. I don't know. Lead me more to water, because I try to take it one by one. Like, I don't love everything AIH does, but I'll agree with some. Some I'm like, you need to do better here or clarify more here. And some of the stuff is like you're just you're grasping for straws.
I think that's all of it.
I mean,
look, I grasp for straws too. You call me out of left field after week 3, and we're like, give me a hot take, and I'm like, the Giants are not going to win again. They haven't lost since. I mean, like, right? Not everything I say is going to be right too. I mean, like, just it's one of those things, right? I mean, sometimes it's a hot take, sometimes it's you got to respond, and sometimes it's a much more well thought out reason analysis type thing. And I think there's room for all of it. I guess where I'm going with this, and I think we're in agreement on this, is I like all of it. Because anybody who's putting out hobby content now is putting it out in a time where it's not easy, right? They're putting it out in a time where it would be easy to say, look what I bought. Look what I did. I went to the card show with $1 and a paperclip, and I left with, $1,400 worth of cards and a box of paper clips. You know what I mean? But instead, the people who are here, whether it's gotcha content, not gotcha content, reasoned, research, you name it, I would imagine are probably the people who are going to be here through thick and thin, because this is pretty thin.
So thank you for keeping this going. So I figured it out. What I'm, it's how the person says it, or the delivery, the conviction, and I think as humans, we really have these really good BS detectors. I think deep down we know if someone's trying to, do something, pull a fast one, and we know that with content, even through video. So we know, even with the people we've mentioned, when something is like well researched, this person has conviction in what they say, versus they're saying it just to they're going through the motions. They're a little bit of a caricature of their own brand. And I think that's super important. And I really hold that with importance for people with huge accounts. And I don't mean huge just by followers, but huge with they've made huge promises to their following, and now I believe their delivery is coming off a bit hypocritical.
I think you've put the nail on that one. I guess what I'm going to say is, what's funny with the battle lines drawn and the different type of content and the whole deal. I've gotten people messaging me like, "What's this guy saying?" I'm wearing team jersey of Luca Nation. You need me to go to battle for you? Go to battle. So I love that, and I love. But everybody has those, and that is the cool part. So whether you're content I like, content I enjoy, content I don't listen to, be mindful.
I think we should have a rough and rowdy at the National where there's 10 different people, five rounds or 5 boxing exhibitions.
Well, I mean, my thing is,
that's fun.
Everybody's built a community up, and that's important. So whatever content you're putting out, whatever style it is, the community you have built up around it is I mean, they're probably here to stay, and you have a responsibility to keep doing your thing for them. So don't go anywhere, no matter who you are. You know,
I don't think that their community here to stay. I think we're winning them over, and I think I think the best podcast will win them over, and the best is speak their truth, look to add value, whether that's through information or resources or opportunities. They're gonna come over here because they're gonna eventually that like high school drama that burns out, and people want real shit. They want to learn. They want to be a part of normal human beings that can nuance. And slowly, that's why our numbers keep growing. Our numbers don't spike like an Eiffel Tower, but every month we grow 10, 15, 20%. And that's in a down market cage.
Yeah, pretty bad market. All right, so let's pivot for a second. All right.
Say a team.
What?
Say a team. And I have all these, like, I have all this NBA prep.
When the Sixers go out and lose to the Celtics tonight,
you'll realize it's 1 out of 82.
Is that the thing? It's a long season.
Well, no, it's talent. Like, okay, so I'll start with the Hawks. Mm-hmm. The Hawks added the Holiday brothers, okay? Aaron and Justin Holiday. Now they have 4 guards. 4 guards, okay? How's that going to work? And here's what's going to happen.
Aaron and who? What are the Holidays? Aaron and who?
Aaron and Justin Holiday.
They didn't even get the good one.
No, Drew's on the Bucks.
I mean, what is it? Wow, yeah, but next? LiAngelo?
Depth matters.
LiAngelo Holiday? Who they signed next over there?
Depth matters. Depth matters a lot in the NBA.
Thanasis Holiday? Who are they going to get next?
Guys, look at my story on Lucas Tiger's Bronx to get every single piece of information.
No, shut up.
Auctions were ending incredibly.
All right, look at this. Look what I'm going to do for you. Talk to me about the Hawks.
No. Don't mute me. Dude, you're such an asshole. Okay.
No, I want to hear of the Hawks.
Well, here's what's going to happen. If the Hawks come out.
Trey led the league in points and assists last year, Trey. I didn't know that.
Oh, you're right. We're just going to go surface level content again.
Oh.
Yes, Trey. Well, dude, it's all about the changes. Like, here, I'll give you an example. I'll start with the Lakers since that's the hot topic.
No. You want to go back to the Hawks, and it's all about the changes. Yet, I see no changes.
The Hawks haven't had changes, and here's what's going to happen. If they come out sluggish,
that was my Tupac.
Nate McMillan, I think he's on the chopping block. Lakers.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, a season and a half removed from the Eastern Conference Finals, and he's...
We're so on different vibes. Cage is still like AIH, hot take.
No,
I'm like, this is what to look out for the 82 games of the season. This is more like a Rob Lowe or Zach Lowe, whatever, on ESPN, than it is like
So you want to do like a quick little like 82 games. Here's what to look for in the NBA. Shoot, tell me about the Lakers. Here's what I know about the Lakers, and then you tell me what I don't know. Carmelo Anthony is not on their team, and I'm sad about that.
Well, let's unwrap their success. They had success in the bubble. Okay, that season, that shortened season, benefited them. How did it benefit? LeBron, AD. LeBron's at the tail end of his career. AD can't stay healthy. I think this team, I see a lot of issues. I don't see how they withstand an 82 game season
because they're old.
Yeah.
Do you see a trade in their future? You think they trade Russell Westbrook and maybe get some youth in there?
I don't think so. I don't. But we'll see. These are just like a little short snippets.
I like it. What else? So give me some other teams. Go through them all.
What's changed with the Bucks? How do they contend?
Giannis is a year older.
Same with Giannis is
Lopez's hair is longer.
Same with the Mavs. I put them in a bucket of what's changed with these teams.
Okay.
Suns.
Nothing. The Heat? Did the Heat add anyone?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Okay. All right. I like this. Who did? Who made a change you like?
I have all of this prepared, and we're on such different wavelengths because my stuff is so
witty the Heat and the Bucks.
But it hits in copyright form better. So we'll go to auctions, and you guys will.
No.
I'm gonna make a graphic out of all this, and you guys are gonna decide if it was worth a segment or not.
I like the segment so far. By the way, this is my favorite segment in a half an hour. Right? We ever do it as a half hour. It's my favorite segment. And here's why.
Tell me.
You got a lot of teams that haven't made any changes. Okay, so the Lakers, they're old and they can't make it through the bubble. I like that point. I'm not betting on the Lakers.
The two teams I'm most excited about, since people love that, are the Clippers and the Nuggets. But when I say most excited, I didn't put Warriors on this list because we've talked about them at nauseum. We've beat that horse. But the Clippers, dude, Ty Lue gets no love. Ty Lue gets no love. And what he was able to do with that young core, without Kawhi, without Paul George, now Kawhi comes back. Now Paul George comes back. That's a really interesting team. Really interesting team. They're the freshest team. They basically have a 10-man rotation. I think they're a top 4 seed. I think at some points in the season, they might be a 2 or a 1 seed.
What do you expect out of Kawhi after such a long layoff? I mean, it's like almost 500 days, right? You expect him to take a little while to get up to speed. You know this because you were injured playing college.
So you remember when Kawhi went from the Spurs and held out for a quad injury to go to the Raptors? This is the exact same situation. This is Kawhi to the Raptors. What did that Raptors team have? Just a bunch of really solid role players.
Yeah.
Really good role players, like 8, 9 guys. You know who they have now on the Clippers team? They have one of those guys, Norman Powell, Paul George, Luke Kennard, the best 3-point shooter, Reggie Jackson. I don't love Reggie Jackson. He's a fucking volume shooter. But the point is sound. They have all of the guys that they had 2-3 years ago, younger, that are Terrence Mann's another one. Really, really, really worth looking out for the Clippers team. And the same goes to be said for the Nuggets team, but higher upside, higher downside, right? Like if you kind of Clippers, you kind of know what you're going to get out of Paul George and Kawhi. Nuggets could be a Western Conference final type of team. They could also be a bottom 8 seed because we look at Jokic, we're like, this guy's incredible, but now he has to get MPJ involved. Get Jamal Murray involved. They have all the pieces. Bones Highland's phenomenal. Aaron Gordon's a good role player. But how will that all intertwine? Very interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, so you like those guys. You like the Nuggets. You like the Clippers. Obviously, you like the moves that the Sixers made.
I love that. I think they had the best offseason. I think Embiid is the MVP. The fans are going to love Trez. Trez is made for Philly fans. High energy, loyal, passionate, pumps his chest, wants to win, just very, 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 very passionate guy. So we have Trez, PJ Tucker, and then DeAnthony Melton. And PJ Tucker's already played with Harden, and he's played with and he's been under Morey.
There's a team that I need to ask you about their offseason.
Sure.
Tell me about the Hornets offseason. Did you like their offseason?
Irrelevant team.
Dude,
no, like,
since
they're not going to contend.
They fired their coach. They have like a couple guys in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, like just Book Knight just got a DUI and had a gun this week, right? On top of Miles Bridges. And I mean, Trez got in trouble too, and then they traded him. It's just so much. And I'm pretty sure Borrego, who was a good young coach, I think they fired him. So this could go a couple ways. Number one, does LaMelo put up like video game type numbers this year? Because he's everything. He's their offense. Does he have to score more? Do his numbers look a little more superstarish? And does it matter? Is he more like a Trey, where he's just putting up numbers and the hobby relevance kind of dwindles? Would you be selling your LaMelo cards because he's probably going to have like 8 wins all year?
I don't like investing in bad teams. I don't even like betting on bad teams when I would bet. I don't like investing on players on bad teams. I don't think Melo is as good as Trey, just like from a pure.
I agree with that.
Individual talent. I don't think Melo's the kind of guy who needs. The better the players around him, the better Melo will do.
Little trivia: Trey led the league in assists and points last year. He was only the second player to ever do that the same season.
I know this. Nate Archibald.
Yeah, Tiny Archibald. Nice, yeah. Good job.
I like ball. Ball's fun.
New York City.
No, but Knicks, Pistons, Pacers, Hornets, Wizards, Raptors. I said one might surprise, but not much talent mixed with uninspiring vets won't carry these teams far.
Knicks. They were up 2 years ago. Everybody had a lot of expectations for them as a 4 seed, and then last year they were a complete and utter disappointment. They didn't do much to change their team either. You'd expect, hopefully, like an additional step up, maybe from an RJ Barrett, maybe a return to form for somebody like Randall. Maybe an increased role for Cam Reddish, right, who's still on that team.
Like to see that.
But everything's got to fall in place for those guys to even contend. to even
everything
be a
has
borderline playoff team.
Yes.
So nothing
Correct.
crazy there.
The Nets are interesting. Here's what I wrote about the Nets. They'll put up 150 in the game this year. They'll also whine and complain.
So let me ask you something. Jokic, 2-time returning MVP. You'd like to think that he should be the favorite because he's won it the last 2 years, but he's a 10-1 shot behind a lot of people. Behind Luka, behind
I think
Giannis.
They're going to struggle, dude. It's really hard to integrate Michael Porter Jr. and Murray off the top of your head. Like, first, is Jamal Murray a point guard or a shooting guard?
We play positionless basketball now.
Honestly, that's the point of it. After Murray went out, Jokic is probably the point guard. Now Murray's kind of the point guard. What's going to happen? It could work. That's why they have such a high ceiling, but it's also not that easy. It's not that easy. And his numbers are going to go down inevitably, scoring and assists for Jokic. So
can I tell you what my thoughts are? My thoughts are that what we're seeing in most professional sports. I mean, the Avalanche last year was my runaway pick. If you remember, Andrew picked them to win the Stanley Cup, and they were clear head and shoulders above everybody else. But what you're seeing here in baseball is a little bit of parity, right? There were some great teams that ran away with the regular season. Maybe it was the format of the playoffs. Maybe it wasn't. But any team really has a shot in the playoffs. You saw it with the NFL last year. The Rams were not the best team all year, and the Bengals were clearly not the best team in the AFC. They don't have the best talent. They don't have the MVPs, but that's who the Super Bowl was last year. And you're seeing it again in the NFL this year. You're seeing a lot of parity. You're seeing a lot of 4-2 Jets. Get out of here. Come on. Go play pickleball. 5-1 Giants? No. There's a lot of pretenders. There's a lot of fakers. And a lot of the teams that were perennial powerhouses, your Brady team, your Rodgers teams, these teams that you're supposed to just expect to be there in the end, they're kind of falling off a little bit. And what happens there is everybody's in this, squishy middle you like to talk about, and anything can happen. I think you're going to see the same thing in the NBA. I mean, the Warriors seem to be sort of like, head and shoulders above, but even them, I mean, there are matchup problems for them in the league that they don't match up well against. So
not if Wiseman plays at an elite level. Like, in terms of variables, it's a huge if, but like, if Wiseman plays poorly, they're still a 60-win team. If Wiseman plays incredible, they're back to their 2015, 2016 form. Like, I think if you polled 100 people that like know ball, is Curry better now or then? What would people say?
Now.
You'd say now.
Yeah.
Clay?
Worse.
How much worse is Clay?
I mean, remains to be seen. He might be better. Last season, you might have thrown last season out because he was coming off the injury and probably wasn't himself. He could be just as good. Draymond, probably the same.
The same. He just does the same. And now they have they basically have the exact same, like Jordan Poole.
Right, and some youth with a lot of youth. Right.
I love
Rudy, Kuminga, Wiseman. Like, if any of those guys turn into any type of contributor, throw Wiggins into the mix. Yeah, I mean, But
they were blowing teams out by 20 points back then. I remember they beat the Sixers by 50. Remember that? Like, the Sixers lost by 50 to the Clippers and the Warriors, like, back-to-back nights.
I remember. I definitely remember. But I'm expecting a lot of, competitive basketball this year. I think you're right. I don't see anything that's like, besides the Warriors team, I don't see any, crazy runaways anywhere, right? Especially in the East. I mean, the East is pretty wide open,
What else did I say? I said
Durant, by the way, was more of a favorite than Jokic.
Who was?
Durant.
That's a really interesting team, man. Like, honestly, if all healthy, Seth Curry, Harris, and TJ Warren, TJ Warren hasn't played in 2 years, and he was killing it in the bubble. They're just gonna put up points, and then like it really is Ben Simmons' like dream scenario. Remember Happy Gilmore? Go to your happy place. Ben Simmons literally took a plane and landed in his happy place. I never have to shoot. I'm surrounded by two of the best scorers of all time, and if that's not good enough, I have two of the best shooters, Seth Curry and Joe Harris. This is a dream come true.
I expect a lot of assists from that man.
I think he's gonna average a triple-double. It's gonna.
We talked about this. I think you're right. I think you're right about that. I think
I don't even like who's their Blake Griffin's like their second big guy, and he doesn't really.
He's not even on the team anymore.
They moved him.
Yeah, I don't think he's on the team.
Celtics. I wrote. I mean, have we ever seen this? If you remember, they got Gallinari and Malcolm Brogdon, and everyone said they were the favorites. Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, Gallinari tore his knee. Ime got hungry, and it's every year is Tatum's year. What are we going to see from the Celtics?
Is this the year that Jaylen Brown becomes 1A?
It punches different when it's written, like verbal. But anyway, what else? What else?
Funny, man. I mean, this is it. Let me phrase it to you a different way. If it's not Tatum's year, and the Celtics actually take a step backwards, and they're a 5 seed, and they have, maybe they get one playoff win, and then they're exited, and he's just in the middle of the pack again, averaging 20-something points, and he's not taking that step forward as a superstar. Is it time to call quits on him? Do investors start to, abandon ship?
No, because they never got on the ship like they did with Zion and Luka either.
It's true.
Right? It's interesting. You could only abandon the ship if the ship's they're
very true.
A few will abandon. If you're next year's Tatum's year.
Right. It's a much smaller ship, so it'll be much tougher to notice. Whereas Zion is the Titanic. No pun intended. I don't make fun of fat people because I am.
Zion, I just said let's be happy Zion's back. I think for basketball, having 1 year healthy of Zion is just good for the league.
I can't wait to watch.
I think the kids love Zion.
Yeah.
The kids, there's something. I think he is a big kid. He actually is. He's 21 years old. The team I'm most nervous about, and I don't know if this is yet. Think about this. We're playing out these scenarios of probability, right? It's obviously none of this stuff is going to happen or not. It's what's the chances? What's the probability that CP3 is injured next year at some point?
1 in 3.
33%, which is pretty high, right?
When I say injured, not miss a couple games. I'm talking about miss some significant time.
That team is really in trouble if CP3 misses 20, 25 games. Who's the leader? We already know Ayton doesn't want to be there. Booker's quiet. He's not going to be the dude. That team, I one injury to CP3, it could spiral out of control.
I think I'm with you. I mean, the Suns, the Jazz are in rebuild mode, but there are those Western Conference teams that are just great in the regular season and just don't show up, in the playoffs. But listen, I'm excited. Basketball, for the hobby, basketball has taken over the hearts and minds of collectors and investors and flippers and whatever we want to call these guys. You got young stars, you got older guys, you got people who just love watching the game. You got Giannis investors, you got Luka investors. What one player winning a championship does the most for the hobby?
God, we're such simpletons in this hobby. Shut up with all of your analysis. No one even.
Do you have more analysis? I love your analysis. It's great. Keep it coming.
What?
Simpleton. I mean, you've pointed out several teams.
I can make cases for Curry. I can make cases for Giannis. I can make cases for Embiid, Durant. I don't think that there's one guy that if you win who has the most upside. I mean, Ben Simmons has a tremendous amount of upside.
Yes,
Chris Paul.
So I'll ask it another way. What player stands to have their floor locked in if they win a championship? What player becomes a safer investment?
Luka.
Yes, that is 100,000,000% right.
And Luka's floor is the scariest floor in the world. Luka's floor is brain vomit after Gary's this is the sickest shit ever.
Luka's cards are very expensive.
Sorry, guys.
If he wins one, you are right, 100%. That now all of a sudden it puts in a floor on his cards where you only get that kind of support, price wise if you win the championship. I mean, even an MVP would probably help. Championship helps a lot more. You're starting to see more Mahomes type. You get people defending Mahomes' prices when they get too low because he's already won an MVP and a championship and has done nothing to kind of dissuade people. If he doesn't win this year, it doesn't matter. He's already won more than any of these guys we're talking about. Luka doesn't have that yet. My
people don't rate Kelsey high enough. People are talking about Tyreek Hill, but Kelsey hasn't missed a game in almost 10 years.
Yeah, I mean Kelsey's awesome. He's great.
Luka doesn't have a Kelsey. Okay. Kristaps Porzingis was supposed to be the Kelsey for comparing sports. Mm-hmm. Someone that could you can't just win on your own. You need teammates. And everyone's like, Cheetah's gone. He has Kelsey. He has a reliable second option. Klay Thompson is a Kelsey.
When Jordan Poole goes to the brass and says, I can't play with Draymond anymore, and he goes over to Dallas, Luka win 3 in a row. I know what
you
you
see
mean.
what Jordan Poole said? We're professionals and we move on.
What's he supposed to say? I hate the guy.
What do you
Next
think
time
about
he rolls
Russell
up on me,
Wilson?
I'm going to smack him in the face. I mean, he's got to say the right things. I mean, it's a press conference.
It's sure, but Ben Simmons has said all the wrong things. Like he's like, there were people airballing everywhere, and then they caught me airballing. So stop acting like saying the right thing is just the easiest thing in the world.
That's different. Ben Simmons is born.
Because he's been dropped on his head.
Nobody's coaching Simmons. They are leaving Simmons out there to hang himself. They don't care. They're coaching Poole. And look, that is also a difference in the organizations. And you've said this probably since the first week we started recording, that everybody should model their organization on what Golden State does, right? That's why this is such a surprise to see that footage, to see that happen. But it shouldn't be a surprise to see how they do the mop up afterwards.
Who's the alpha in that organization? Like if you took one person out and you were like, yeah, you could let you know what I'm saying. Now.
Yeah, James Looney.
Kevon Looney, not James.
Kevon Looney. James Looney. James Looney's he's a baseball player for the Dodgers. He plays James Looney. James Looney. Kevon
him on Zoom at 4 p.m.
Looney. Remember that? I say he was the most important guy in the series.
I say it's Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr. It can make a case can be made, and people that Kerr is a bigger winner than Michael Jordan.
Phil Jackson can be, you can make a case he's a bigger winner too.
That can.
If you want to talk about coaches,
Kerr won as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a coach.
Walton. I mean, what's not Bill Walton? What are Phil Jackson? Phil Jackson won as a player and won as a coach in 2 different places.
And I agree. I think Phil is the Zen master. That's why he got.
Yeah, but time passes. Time passes everybody. Time passed Phil also. The game passed him by.
Yeah, but Kerr is like 50 years old. So who's your alpha? Mine is I say
the Golden State organization, who's my alpha? Well, this year you said it's going to be James Wiseman. He's going to be playing at an all-star level. Plus, he's like 11 feet tall, so nobody's going to mess with him. No, I think what's funny is I think it's Draymond.
Your takes are insane.
I think it's Draymond.
Draymond is a loose cannon who they put up with because he's actually really good on the court on defense.
I think he's an alpha. I think they follow him.
No.
That's the definition.
It's true. I left it open real quick. Let Russ cook. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, what's he cooking?
It smells.
Well,
15 yards and 3 for 13 in the second half versus the Chargers.
I mean, to be fair, aren't they giving him spoiled food to cook? I mean,
you think it's the coaching or the wide receiver stuff?
Coaching. I mean, you can't blame him. He came into the season with a very good running back who broke his leg. That's tough. Javonte Williams. He's very good, and he broke his leg. So that's kind of difficult. The wide receivers have not been what I expected them to be with Russ, and maybe that's a chemistry thing. But, I mean, Jerry Jeudy was – I mean, you've heard me talk about him.
Alabama.
That guy was an animal in Bama. I mean, and he just gets lost. Maybe, I don't know why. Cortland Sutton hasn't taken the step forward that he probably should have. He also doesn't have a Kelsey. You give me a tight end, so security blanket on third down like a Kelsey for that team, it's a different story. Maybe he'll develop that with one of his tight ends. Keep in mind, they were very close last night to being 3-3. They should have won that game. Russ kind of shitty. And the Chargers would have been 3-3 also, and they would have all been, looking up at a 4-2 Chiefs or game behind. But the ball just bounces. You know what I mean? They're not done, at 2-4, I think they're at.
6 touchdowns in 6 games. They've given up.
The offense has been weak. The defense has been great. I saw a great we call meme today on Twitter. It was the scene of Joe Pesci in Goodfellas where they walk him into the room and he thinks he's being made and they just bing and they take him out, and they showed that scene about to happen, and that the title of it was the defense. Defense calling Russ Wilson. The defense calling a team meeting and only inviting Russ. They're gonna take him out because he's ruining their stellar performance. So.
I gotta tell you, from just a purely this is a business missed earnings. It's a good time to buy Russ. If I was, it's scary though.
the flip side, what do we see for Russ going forward? Is Russ staying in Denver? He's got a huge contract. How many more years is he playing? You know, people don't realize Russ is relatively young, but 2012 rookie, right?
Bet on the jockey, not the horse, right? Type of thing. Like he's a character guy. He's a leader guy. He's a guy who's done it before. I don't know why all this defamation's coming out from like his old teammates and stuff. That's very off-putting. But like you've won once, you got to think that you got a chance. Like once a star, always a threat. I don't know. Maybe this is one I could be deluding myself on. That's why I haven't put my money where my mouth is, to be fair.
Let me just say one thing before we leave. Guys, if you didn't watch the Yankee game, there are little fun things in sports that are interesting, right? And Andrew hates the unwritten rule stuff, but take a look. So Naylor hit a home run off of Garrett
Naylor, I hardly know her.
And he ran around the bases rocking a baby. Did you see this? He's rocking a baby like this the whole way around the bases. Like, I'm your daddy.
Who did that?
I just took you deep. Naylor, it's their cleanup hitter.
On Cleveland or on the Yankees?
Cleveland. And he's rocking a baby and the whole deal. Now,
they do that in soccer, and Russ has done that.
Unwritten rules, right? You flip your
soccer,
bat, you do whatever you want. They suck their thumbs in soccer because they're babies. So anyway, this guy hit a home run. You could celebrate the whole deal, but running around the bases, rocking a baby at the opposing team in the opposing dugout, I mean, back it up, right? Back it up. So Gleyber Torres got the last out, and if you didn't see it, guys, he threw the ball. He stepped on second, I think, and got the out. And as he made the last out, that's when you rock a baby to sleep as you eliminate. And he did.
Huge favorite. Got taken to 5 games by a team that basically Stanton is more than an entire payroll. They can't pound their chest and feel good about themselves.
They were losing.
I hate Yankees fans, man.
They were losing.
You guys deserve to live in purgatory for the rest of your lives.
Well, I'll say this: we're 52 minutes in. I cannot wait for the Sixers to suck this year.
They're obviously not going to suck. They're not going to suck. They might not be as good as I claim that they would be, which is Eastern Conference Finals.
Borderline 4 seed, maybe a 5th seed. They'll be on the road for the first round of the playoffs. How about that?
It's impossible with their talent. You don't understand. You don't watch the games.
We will clip it at the end of the year when the Sixers are a 5 seed.
Dude, the Sixers are going to be a 1 or a 2 seed. Dude.
Celtics.
They might be inexperienced in the playoffs, but they're going to be a 1 or 2 seed. Dude, Embiid is a monster. Embiid is this generation's Hakeem.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com, or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.